I'm here, and as you can see, I've replaced the light bulb. It is significantly brighter in here, and I'm not even sure if I like it. This is supposed to be kind of a Denny uh like lighting, and this is definitely very bright. Oh well. Well, if it's going to be bright, let it be light. But regardless, we're here and we're going to talk about the Lord and his word tonight. As always, my name is Stuart Davis, Flawed Man of God. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my channel. This is the place where we can all get together and take some time in a relaxed setting to talk about faith and ask questions, share issues, and partake in this project that we're currently in. We're reading through the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, in order. And it's been a great ride so far. I'm glad that you guys are here and spending that time with me. And like I said, wait. When I say we, doesn't mean just me talking. I mean, I'm going to be the one speaking, but you have input into the show as well. You are part of this show just by being here and being part of the audience. But if there's something you want to say, if you have input that you want to lend, then by all means, type in the chat. We got a great group of folks who participate in the chat night in and night out. We got a couple of them in here right now. We'd love to have you here. Love to have you here. Like I said, you're part of the show. And look, we're a small group here. So you've got the opportunity to make your voice heard. And we are small enough that you don't have to worry about getting lost in the chat. If you put something in that chat box, I'm going to read it and respond to it. This is not a place where anybody's asking you for donations, subscriptions, super chats, any of that stuff, right? That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is discussions on faith. We're here to grift souls, not money. That's not something you will ever see here. So, share what you got, be part of the group, and we're going to get right into it. And also, my disclaimer that I put out when I can, I'm not a professional. I am very amateurish. I don't know if you've noticed this because I can't even get StreamYards to keep the background up. But I'm not a professional. But I mean that in a faith sense. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary. What you see and get from me is what I've gathered from being a Christian all my life and the experiences and knowledge that I've built up over from that time. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lead you astray. What I'm going to tell you is what I know, and some of it may be right, some of it might be wrong. Validate what I say. All right. And I'm not here to tell you that I'm the expert. I'm just the host. All right. And I'm a host with lots of opinions, and a host with the willingness to stream and put my face and opinions out there on a YouTube channel. But that's it. That's it. I'm not gonna try to tell you that I'm owning the Catholics or owning the Orthodox or owning the Calvinists or any of that other stuff. We're here to gather as fellow Christians. Now there comes a time where we need to stop trying to make sure we share how much we know more than the other person. Knowing Jesus is the point. And yeah, maybe some of us are a little off on how we do it, but that doesn't mean that the intention's not there. That doesn't mean that the desire isn't there. And that can go a long way. So let's get into the show. Nico's here. Hola. Hello, sir. Yeah, like the cozy light more, not the stage spotlight. I might do something about that in a minute. Alias Flawed Man's interrogation room. Yeah, I know. Like it's dark normally. Here's me being not me being picky. I want it to be able you be able to see me better in the light that I have, but not this way. Not this way. I don't know how to light. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a pro at this. What do you think? What do you think, Ron? Ronnie boy. He's here. So, all right. Well, it's Thursday, so it's our last stream of the week. Right, Ron? It's our last stream of the week, and we're going to get into chapter 3 and chapter 4 of Ezekiel tonight. Now, if you remember, in Ezekiel 1 and 2, Ezekiel, who we think at the time is a 13-year-old kid who has been approached in a very overt way by God. And when we say he's approached not by God, but at least some of the heavenly host. So Matt, I actually have one of those because that's what I started with. I don't like staring at it. And when my just so you guys know my setup, okay? I've got two 43-inch screens behind the camera, right? And that's what I'm navigating. One side has got StreamYards, and one side has got the window with the Bible up. And then between them I've put this camera. And so if I put the selfie light around it, I can't see the comments. Yeah. And I think if off center 45 on the left be all right. What I really would like, because one of the things I would like a more set positioning. You are very needy tonight, Kitty. I want a more permanent place to put it. Maybe when I get a different camera or something like that. Maybe I'll put a little bit more work into it. But yeah, I like it a little bit darker. I want to maybe do something with it. I don't know. But I think you're right. Matthew. Off center, 45 on the left would be all right. Light face, a little bit more profile. The problem is I got to take all this stuff down from time to time because I do other things at this desk. Like I do a lot of work at this desk. I game at this desk. It's a place where I do a lot of stuff. So, just got an idea. Maybe I'll put LED lights behind that Crusader shield. Anyway. All right. So, yeah. I would like better lighting in here. Anyway, back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel's approached by the heavenly host, very overt way, a very unnerving way, and God starts to speak to him as if from the expanse. And we kind of got a little bit into that on Tuesday evening, but God speaks to him. And what he starts to say is, I'm sending you, Ezekiel, just like he sent Jeremiah before him, like he sent Isaac before him, and the other prophets and the other priests to go do different tasks for him. But this time is to relay a message from God to the newly conquered and newly enslaved Hebrews who have been removed from their promised land of Israel and Judah by the Babylonians. And sitting there God is, or as Ezekiel is sitting or standing there, God said, I think it's standing actually, because God tells him to stand. God says, look, punishment's been dealt out. It's time for them to really learn their lesson, or at least find out if they learned their lessons. I'm going to tell you some stuff, and you're going to tell it to these people, and they can decide whether they're going to listen to what I say or ignore it. But either way, you're going to do it. And I'm not going to lie to you, Ezekiel. Some of these guys are pretty treacherous. They've done some pretty treacherous stuff. And then God tells them to prepare. And that's kind of where chapter 2 ends. We'll be picking up in chapter 3. But I mean, what we have seen, especially in the events of Jeremiah leading up to and during the sacking and siege of Jerusalem by the Babylonians, some pretty nefarious behavior, pretty shabby, cowardly behavior by the Israelites, and how they treated Jeremiah, how they treated the message that was coming from God. It just shows you why all this was necessary. And they just refused to change. So maybe now they're willing to listen. But we'll get into that in a little bit. We got a long way to go in Ezekiel. So Ezekiel 3 is where we'll pick up. Ezekiel's commission. He said to me, Son of man, eat what you find in this book. Eat this scroll, then go speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he fed me the scroll. He said to me, Son of man, eat this scroll that I am giving you and fill your stomach with it. So I ate it, and it was sweet as honey in my mouth. Then he said to me, Son of man, go to the house of Israel and speak my words to them. For you are not being sent to a people of unintelligible speech or difficult language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many peoples of unintelligible speech or difficult language, whose words you cannot understand. But I have sent you to them who should listen to you and pay attention to my message. Yet the house of Israel will not be willing to listen to you and obey you, since they are not willing to listen to me and obey me. For the entire house of Israel is stubborn and obstinate. Behold, I have made your face as hard as their faces, and your forehead as hard as their foreheads. I have made your forehead like emery, diamond, harder than flint. Do not be afraid of them, or be dismayed before them, though they are a rebellious house. Moreover, he said to me, Son of man, receive into your heart all my words which I will speak to you, and hear with your ears. Listen closely. Go to the Jewish exiles in Babylon, to the children of your people, and speak to them, whether they listen or not, and tell them, Thus says the Lord God. What's going on, Carl? So, just a cat's in a weird mood tonight. So God literally tells, and I think on Tuesday night, I was like, he doesn't actually eat the scroll, does he? And I was like, maybe he does. He does actually eat the scroll. And I mean, this was under the command of God. God said to eat it, you're going to eat it. And he fed me the scroll. But much like what God has to say to us, it was as sweet as honey in his mouth. So now he has consumed the scroll in order to share it with the Israelites. But God is sending him, and he's continuing to warn him. It's like, look, these guys aren't dumb. And these guys aren't people that don't understand what you have to say. They don't want to do what you have to say. They don't want to hear what you have to say, because they haven't wanted to do it for some time now. They haven't. I love this, what he says. They will not be willing to listen to you and obey you, since they are not willing to listen to me and obey me. For the entire house of Israel is stubborn and obstinate. Right? So he talks about how he's making his face as hard as their face. I think it's just make him just come across as serious as them. Then the Spirit lifted me up, and I heard a great rushing sound behind me. Blessed be the glory of the Lord in his place above the expanse. And then I heard the sound of the wings of the living beings as they touched one another, and I heard the sound of the wheels beside them, a great rushing sound. So the Spirit lifted me up and took me away, and I went embittered by the sins of Israel and the rage of my spirit, and the hand of the Lord was strong on me. Then I came to the exiles who lived beside the river Chebar and Tel Abib. I sat there for 7 days in the place where they were living, overwhelmed with astonishment by my vision and the work before me. He does have a task before him. And it's like, hey, look, God just, they swoop them up. Everybody, the expanse, everybody's, the heavenly host is leaving, and I guess ascending back up into heaven, and Ezekiel is carried over to Tel Abib. He's with the exiles, so he's not with the servants. But he sat there for a week, sitting there just overwhelmed, and the people there were overwhelmed with what he had to say and what the task he had before him that God had given him. Nico says, what? Bro swallowed the scroll, maybe metaphorically, or some supernatural scroll? Well, the scroll was given to him by God, and I think it just kind of appears. You have to go back and look at 2. Chapter 2, I think. Yeah. He said, open your mouth and eat what I'm giving you. Then I looked, and I saw a hand stretched out toward me, and behold, a scroll of a book was in it. And he spread it before me, and it was written on the front and the back, and written on it were words of lamentation, funeral songs, mourning, and woe. So he doesn't necessarily have good news with him. Whenever you hear woe, then yeah. And Matt Felty's, there are some Psalms word studies on meditate, chew in Hebrew, I believe. It could be metaphorical, but you remember, this is what Ezekiel is describing is a very supernatural event, and it may be as God described, or as God trying to put this in a way that really impacts Ezekiel, is that you are going to literally consume what I'm giving you, and to know that it is good, it will taste sweet. At the end of 7 days, the word of the Lord came to Israel. Whenever I say to the wicked, you will certainly die, and you do not warn him or speak out to tell him to turn from his wicked way to save his life, that same evil man will die in his sin, but you will be responsible for his blood. However, if you have warned the wicked, and he does not turn from his wickedness or from his wicked way, he will die in his sin, but you have freed yourself from responsibility. Again, when a righteous man turns from his righteousness, right standing with God, and sins, I place an obstacle before him. I was like, if again, when a righteous man turns from his righteousness, right standing with God, and sins, and I place an obstacle before him, he will die. Since you have not warned him, he will die in his sin, and the righteous deeds which he has done will not be remembered, but you will be responsible for his blood. However, if you have warned the righteous man not to sin, and he does not sin, he will surely live because he took warning. Also, you have freed yourself from responsibility. It's inspired direction, revelation from Matt. So at the end of the week, the word of the Lord came to me saying, now I don't know if that's, epiphany style or if, you know, a representative of God or maybe Christ himself, because in the beginning there was the word. Um, doesn't matter. Either way, Ezekiel is sitting there after a week, the word comes from God to him. And so he's telling him, you're going to be the watchman. You're going to be watching over these people, and I am going to lead you. There are going to be evil men doing evil things, and you are to warn them. And you are not to disobey me. Again, here we go with obedience. Do not disobey me, Ezekiel, because if you don't warn the wicked man that he's doing a wicked thing and to turn away from it, then he's going to die, but it's going to be your fault. Your fault. Because I've told you to do this. And he's going to die for it. But that's because he's a wicked man doing wicked things. And this is an interesting tie-in to those of you guys who know the story of Jonah. And he said, but if you tell the man, if you give him the warning that I gave you, and he continues to do it, that's on him. It sounds pretty reasonable, right? God's like, look, I'm giving you this power, I'm giving you this responsibility, and go, you were to do this. All right. And your job here is to try to help people. This is all about helping people help themselves. So a man's doing something wrong and he's a pretty bad guy and everything. And you go, hey, knucklehead, God has told me to get in your way and stop doing these evil things. Turn from your actions. And he has the opportunity. It's kind of like what he said in chapter 2 and earlier in chapter 3. You can either listen to what God says or you can ignore him. But you are to tell them. It is your responsibility. And same thing with a good man who is slipping into wickedness or doing a wicked thing. You are there to warn him. And if you don't warn him, it is a great loss. But then that loss is your responsibility, Ezekiel. But if he listens to you and he goes and does righteous stuff, then great. Then great. We've accomplished what we've wanted to do. The hand of the Lord was on me there, and he said to me, arise, go out to the plain, and I will speak to you. So I got up and went out to the plain, and behold, the glory and brilliance of the Lord was standing there, like the glory I had seen by the river Chebar, and I fell face downward. Then the Spirit entered me and made me stand on my feet. He spoke and said to me, go, shut yourself up in your house. As for you, son of man, they will put ropes on you and bind you with them so that you cannot go out among them. And I will make your tongue stick to the roof of your mouth so that you cannot talk. And you cannot be a man who rebukes the people, for they are a rebellious house. But when I speak to you, I will open your mouth, and you will say to them, thus says the Lord God, he who hears, let him hear, and he who refuses to hear, let him refuse, for they are a rebellious house. Yeah, we know this, but that's interesting. So it's like, again, Ezekiel gets another, it's like, look, Ezekiel's job isn't easy. It's easily understood. And with faith, you would say easy to carry out. But God is, it's not going to be reaching friendly ears. And I'm sure I'm sure Ezekiel here understands these people. He's upset himself, what they said, because he was frustrated and irritated by the sins of Israel when he was being carried to the river Chebar. But again, he's approached by God, and he falls face downward, and the Spirit of God and the Holy Spirit enters him and makes him stand up on his feet and go in your house. You're going to be roped, bound, and I am going to keep you from speaking until I want you to speak. And this is what you'll say. All right. Chapter 4, relatively short. Chapter 4, the siege of Jerusalem predicted. Now you, son of man, take a brick, place it before you, and inscribe on it a diagram of the city of Jerusalem. Then lay siege against it, build a siege wall, raise a ramp against it, set up enemy camps, and place battering rams all around it. Further, take an iron plate and place it as an iron wall between you and the city, and set your face forward toward it so that it is under siege, and besiege it. This is a sign to the house of Israel. Then lie down on your left side toward the north to bear symbolically the wickedness and punishment of the house of Israel. You shall bear their wickedness and punishment for the number of days that you lie on your side. For I have assigned you the years of their wickedness and punishment. According to the number of days, 390 days represented the 390 days, representing 390. Sorry. According to the number of the days, 390 days representing 390 years. In this way, you shall bear symbolically the wickedness and punishment of the house of Israel. When you have completed these days for Israel, lie down again, but on your right side toward the south, and you shall bear the wickedness and punishment of the house of Judah 40 days. I have assigned you 1 day for each year. Then you shall set your face toward the siege of Jerusalem with your arm bared and prophesy against it. Now behold, I will put ropes on you so that you cannot turn from one side to the other until you have completed the days of your siege. Okay, this is interesting because it almost sounds like siege of Jerusalem predicted. It should have already happened, right? Or at least my understanding. Let's see. And 4, the prophet is commanded by God to perform a series of symbolic actions to illustrate the impending siege of Jerusalem and the resulting famine. Ezekiel's 4 happened before the fall of Jerusalem. Yeah, I'm going to pull that up in a second. I still got it. I never closed that thing, Matt. Oh, okay. Yes, Ezekiel 4 occurs before the fall of Jerusalem. The events described in Ezekiel 4 are part of a series of symbolic actions performed by Ezekiel, but this while he was in exile in Babylon. Now, I want to say I think there were a couple of sieges of Babylon. Okay, Ezekiel, there we go. Ezekiel was taken into captivity during the first deportation in 597. And the prophecies in chapters 4 and 5 were delivered during the period leading up to the city's final fall. Okay. Total, he was sitting on his side, either one side or the other, for 430 days. This was meant to talk about the punishments for Jerusalem. So we see Ezekiel really kind of bound up and enduring punishment on behalf of Jerusalem, on behalf of Judah, on behalf of Israel. Because we see this right here. You shall bear their wickedness and punishment. And we're talking about Israel. And then again, with the 40, that's 390 days. Then for 40 more days, you shall bear symbolically the wickedness and punishment of the house of Israel. And you're not going to be allowed to move. It sounds like you're going to be bound up. That's it, right? And there's supposed to be like a brick, and there's supposed to be some symbolism there where he sits, right? And one's north and one's south. Defiled bread. But as for you, take wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. What's spelt? Is that food? It's got to be food, right? Also known as dinkel wheat, is a species of wheat. It is a relict crop eaten in Central Europe and northern Spain. It is high in protein, maybe. Oh, use it in bread. Okay. Something I just didn't know about. Wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt, and put them into one vessel and make them into bread for yourself. You shall eat it according to the number of the days that you lie on your side, 390 days. The food you eat each day shall be measured by weight, 20 shekels to be eaten daily at a set time. You shall drink water by measure also. The sixth part of a hin you shall drink daily at a set time. We've got footnotes here. So he's got half a pound of food and about a quart of water each day. So you shall the sixth part of a hin you shall drink daily at a set time. You shall eat your food as barley cakes, having baked it in their sight over human dung. Oh. Then the Lord says, thus the children of Israel will eat their bread unclean and defiled among the nations where I will banish them. But I said, Lord God, behold, hear me. I have never been defiled, for whom my youth until now I have never eaten what died on its own, or was torn from my breast, or what I have never eaten what is died on its own. I'm sorry, my fault. I have never eaten what died on its own, or was torn by beast, nor has any unclean meat ever entered my mouth. Then he said to me, see, I will let you use cow's dung instead of human dung, over which you shall prepare your food. Oh. Moreover, he said to me, son of man, behold, listen carefully. I am going to break the staff of bread that supports life in Jerusalem. They shall eat bread rationed by weight, and eat it with anxiety and fear, and drink water by measure, and drink it in horror of the impending starvation. Because bread and water will be scarce, and they will look at one another in dismay and waste away in punishment for their wickedness. Ezekiel bread. Is that an actual thing? Is that like an actual saying? Man, this is disgusting, by the way. I cannot stand poop. Oh yeah, the Ezekiel bread recipe. What do you know? Is the all recipes? Do they actually have the an option for cow or human poop to prepare it over? Golly, supposed to be nutritionally complete. The recipe calls for grinding your own flour from a variety of grains and dried beans. It's got a picture, but I don't know. Cook time 40 minutes. Prep time 20 minutes. Additional time 1 hour. Total time 2 hours 5 minutes. Yields 2 loaves. Is Ezekiel bread gluten free? No, it's not, because we're not dumb. Out of story Ezekiel bread. Man, this is when you read the actual passage that it comes from, there's a missing part of that preparation. Ugh. But that's what we're talking about. Ezekiel is undergoing great hardships as a result of Israel and Judah's actions. To the point where, I mean, I'm sure Ezekiel's just like, why? Why am I having to do this? Why am I being bound up for well over a year? Well over a year. It looks like like a year and 3 months, he is going to be bound up on one side or the other to endure what other people have done. Now he's part of that tribe. Now he's part of that sin. But like he said, I have not defiled myself. And he is a young guy. And he goes, I've never eaten you know, animals that have died on their own or were killed by a beast. Right? He's never ate anything that was ceremonially unclean. And so I think this is like the human waste was the human waste was probably the part that really just sent him over the edge. He said, please, God, please I don't defile myself. Please don't make me. And said, God said, that's fine. Don't have to use human waste. Sigh from Ezekiel. You can use cow dung instead. Gross. But there's more to this punishment than for those who lived than just surviving and just having survivor's guilt. No. There's going to be hardship for you. And these guys are going to have to eat this way as well. And Ezekiel, you're going to undergo this in a very bad way. So, why? What is the meaning behind this? It's very difficult. Well, why is God choosing Ezekiel, is making Ezekiel go through this instead of just saying, Ezekiel, go talk to these people? Maybe it's to impress upon the Israelites the importance and the gravity of what God is getting ready to tell them. He is going to put his messenger really through the ringer in front of God and everyone, as I say. So, Ezekiel 4:9 brand. Wonder how clean that factory is. Bakery. It's a bakery. All right. That's our reading for tonight. Thank you guys. This is gonna be Ezekiel's gonna be good to run through. Daniel's gonna be really good to run through. We got some really good books coming through. I mean, not that there are any other bad ones, but I think you guys are gonna really like us churning through these next more narrative driven books and appreciate them for what they have. Matt Felty, thank you for the pointers on if you want Ezekiel bread, maybe you want to eat some while you're listening to the stream as we go through these chapters over the next few weeks. Matt knows, hey, look, you can just do it in solidarity with Ezekiel. Somewhat. Do it sitting on, listen to read, laying on your side, tied up, eating poo bread. Alias, what's going on, sir? Thank you for being here tonight. Nico, Carl, all you guys. Love seeing you, love hearing from you. And I appreciate what you bring to the show, what you contribute every night. To you, those of you who aren't in the chat, but you're listening, hey, I want you to know, please say something. Please give, say something if you feel so compelled. But if you're not willing to or you're not able to, I understand. I'm just glad that you're finding a place that you can come back to routinely. And to everybody who is catching this on replay, thank you for watching. I'm sorry I missed you, and I hope to see you sometime live soon. Everybody have a good weekend. Have a fun weekend. Have a safe weekend. Have a productive weekend. Have a relaxing weekend. Go to church. Pray for each other. Pray for the folks out there with all this mayhem that's going on. There's a lot of prayer that we can do for our country. And you guys be safe. Be safe, and I'll catch you whenever I'm able to stream next week. You guys have a good night. God bless.